Hello and welcome to the show. We are here today on automation, going to be building another car in the sandbox mode. Today's build is going to be a muscle car. We're going for the height of the muscle car era, the late 60s. So I'll only have late 60s tech to be working with. We've only really got one body style that is vaguely suitable, so that is the one that we shall go for. Now, I will try and vaguely keep it along the lines of of a muscle car. Yeah, kind of going to see what I can come up with. I know it's like half decent, so yes, it's going to be a rather basic. It's supposed to be all about sort of straight line speed and everything else, almost as cheap as possible. Basically, do we have I guess we'll just keep going with steel for now. We will have longitudinal at the front. We only have double wishbone suspension. We can have a solid axle coil, I think is what you would have had on the most part, with certainly with the very early muscle cars, unless they were ridiculous. I don't know if anything had any fancier suspension at the back, possibly, but that's what we'll go with at the rear. Keep things relatively simple. Now, it's not going to handle very well. We know this. It's not it's not going to handle too well. Kind of looks a bit like it's got a Ford Falcon-esque body that the game has. We will add on various features. Of course, if we are going to if we're going to have a FailRace automobile, we're going to have it in the orangiest of colours. I forgot to select it, didn't I? No, we want to go forward. I'm trying to remember how to do this bit. That's what we want to do. So we select that one. There we go. Now when we adjust it on here, that is when we will, that's what we want. We'll be able to see what we're bloody doing with the colours. Do we go for a slightly brighter shade of orange? There we go. That's more like it. That is the FailRace. The FailRace colours for today. Right, headlights. Now, we don't actually have any, I guess, we don't have any like square headlights to go on the front. I was thinking Dodge-esque. These might do the job. Yeah, if we get some of those, and then we will get a nice grille along the front of the car. Oh, maybe not quite that large, though. Maybe we'll make it a little bit of a smaller grille. Now, cooling, I don't really know what we're going to have cooling-wise. Of course, it's going to have a very, very big engine, which is great and all, but it's probably going to need a fair amount of cooling, so I'm going to grab another vent along the bottom. Maybe not that one, though. Maybe if I think I'll stick with this one here, to be honest. We'll grab a vent along the bottom. Then I might have some like corner grills as well, just to make sure we get as much air into the car. It'll also be helpful potentially when it comes to cooling the brakes. We'll have potentially some extra cooling as well for the brakes, because the brakes are going to be something that it's likely to struggle with. Again, it's going to be an area that you can probably get away with skimping out on a little bit. And we will try and make it as cheap as possible in some regards. Also, we've not got the technology. At the end of the day, we just haven't got the technology full stop in this car to have that fancier stuff. There we go. We'll have those for tail lights. We'll grab another kind of grille area along. No, we don't want that one actually. Not that one. Was it this one that I was sticking with? Kind of in general. Yeah, we'll grab sort of another grill area along the back. It's just to give it a little bit more going on really in the vehicle. That's roughly in the centre. I should have probably dragged that about in a better way, but that'll do. That'll do. And we haven't really got anywhere at the front for a number plate to go. I guess it would sit on that spot there, maybe. Oh, no, wait, that is actually a centre point. Yeah, that works. It's kind of fairly straightforward in many ways. With this one, don't really need to do anything too fancy. Exhaust. What do we want to go? What do we want to go and do here? I'm guessing we're going to want. Now, how do we? Is that one there to get a second one across the other side? That I am happy with. Perfect, I think. I mean, the basic body shape does a lot of the work with these cars. They're not, you know, they don't look out of place having sort of this vast expanse of panel. It's just how the muscle cars were. I like it. Number plates are done. We'll grab an aerial. Unfortunately, we can't have like a big old remote control car aerial sticking out the back. That is always the way to go with vehicles. Don't want that one. Oh. Hold on, I've placed it, won't it? We'll have like bloody little antennas out the side of the car. Is it that one that's the, I guess, kind of the closest? It'll have to do, I think. There we go. Oh, wait. God damn it, someone's already crashed into me aerial. Fine. I kind of don't want to have it on the boot, but I think it's going to have to sit there because the game... Nope, but it's got a real floppy going on there. That's not what you want. Fine, you know what? I was trying to be different. I was trying to have it on the boot, but nope, we're going to put it on the centre. Sure. Perfect. That'll do. I like it. I like the muscle car. I'm pleased with that. Right. Engine. Now, we have got, of course, it's going to have to be a V8. 60 degree versus 90 degree, don't really... Personally, no idea other than, you know, slight variations. I think the 60 degree is slightly more compact by the looks of it. We'll go with big. We'll go with a 90 degree engine. It would be made of cast iron. Now, I've been mostly messing around with small engines in previous builds. The fun with this is we get to have a massive engine. We could go for a 10 litre. We're not going to go for a 10 litre. We're going to go with a 7... yeah, we'll go with a 7 litre. We'll go with a 7 and a bit litre V8. Because, you know, we can, really. And at the end of the day, when we've got limited technology, we're just going for ultimate displacement. Now we could go for very old school, very simple with a pushrod system. I think we can go. We're gonna go a little bit more expensive, but it should mean that we can get a little bit more power and so on. We'll go with some overhead cams. We'll go for, I say ahead of the time, but the game's letting me do it in 1969, so that is what we will do. And again, we'll stick with cast iron for all of this. Now we're likely to need some pretty decent forged steel, flat plane, forged steel. We're going to need some pretty decent, we'll go flat plane, internals, because we are going to hopefully have 400 plus horsepower, a decent amount of torque as well. Not likely to be a massively high revving engine, but you'd expect that from this. So yeah, it's going to be kind of all about the torque. We'll go with heavy duty cast. I might come back, of course, and fiddle around with those. We'll deal with the compression and whatnot later on. Naturally aspirated. If there was a supercharger option, I'd be tempted. But there we go. We will have twin 4-barrel carburetors on here. We will have a performance intake. I guess we'll run it on regular. Yeah, to be fair, I don't know a huge amount about the fuel that was going on in '69, I'll be honest. I would imagine they would have moved away from leaded fuel in these high-end performance cars. I would guess. I could be wrong. I apologise if I am. Shall we go? We won't go quite for the full-on race. We'll go with a tubular. I do like the tubular exhaust on this car. We've got to go, of course, for dual exhaust. We will have... Do they have silence? They probably had some. Whoopsie. We've made a 40 horsepower. This like it breaks itself. Hold on, game. I was busy faffing about. We want to get rid of all. I'm trying to remember how to get rid of all this information without closing everything down completely. There we go. That's how we do it. Right. I guess we would have a sort of muffler on the end, just about. Yeah, we'll go with that. Now, let's bring back up the information. So the engine is here we go. This is where it tells us valve. Wow, really? It's got valve float reaching a high RPM performance. It's only doing like, well, it's doing about 5.5. I guess we'll maybe limit it to 5,000 RPM. I guess it's not so dissimilar. Right, so we can make it happier with that. Right. So we need to... Oh, wow, the pistons are a pile of crap, basically. So if we then go and knock this back down... Oh, okay. So we're fairly easily at 420 horsepower. Now 450 was about the most powerful. So okay, so we've got to go forged pistons. I wondered if the heavy duty cast would get away with. We don't. A little bit more expensive going forged pistons, but we need to. So 450 horsepower was about the level that the Chevelles were getting. The Chevelles were the most powerful. Oh, actually, I tell a lie. The Ford Galaxy, I think. I can never find. I read it somewhere. That there was a Ford Galaxy that put out like 600 horsepower, like a very special edition version of the Galaxy that put out 600 odd horsepower. And I can't find it again. So I may have misread it. I may have misread the figures on it, but yeah, you know, we're looking at about 450, 460. Oh, there we go, 460 horsepower. Not the most amount of torque from this engine. The Conrod stress. Hold on, Conrod's. I guess we could go with a. Okay, so we'll be happier with beam steel. Again, a little bit more expensive. It's only 3 more material cost. However, whatever unit of measurement that one is, it's only a little bit more expensive, so it's cool to deal with all of that. Can we get away with... So cam profile is... we can get it back to 459. So if we extend that anymore, it's kind of making the power come later in the rev range, which is not necessarily what we want to be doing with the muscle car, particularly. Okay, I'm just checking we haven't got anything else we can... I was messing around with the exhaust, see what I could do with this. There we go, 460... Oh, that's too little. 461. If we get rid of that, does that then... Okay, it just changes the point at which we do that. No, we'll stick it there. We'll go for that. Okay. I mean, power-wise, it actually pretty much come out exactly where I was expecting to have to do a lot more fiddling around with that than I did. We didn't. We got to the power figure. I just wonder if I can get away with anything. Now, I'm just experimenting slightly. Whatever, tell me whatever else. There are different ways, of course, to balance all of this stuff around that I don't necessarily know. I mean, this has come to a fairly 4.6. We'll go with 466 horsepower at slightly higher. There we go. We got. Oh, sorry. I apologise. I've been looking at this completely the wrong. I've been looking at torque as power. That's my bad. I am a fool. I apologise on that one. I mean, okay. So torque is at a decent sort of a level. I would like a little bit more power out of the engine, but. I guess if we do... Hold on, let's do that. Can we get away with any more? No, it kind of dies. The pistons kind of give out at about 5,500 RPM. They kind of just give up the will to live there, which I'm just seeing what I can and can't do here. Now I actually realise I'm not used to building engines with more torque than power. It's very rare. I'm used to building, well, little engines and silly engines. And that normally ends up with stuff the other way around. So I apologise for misreading the graph. We're at 436. Not sure I can. I have no doubt there are people that can. I have no doubt I'm doing something wrong, and I apologise to those people that do know exactly what they are doing. And if you are coming here looking for perfect building, you come to the wrong place. I'm not sure I can really get my... I guess what we could, I guess, kind of sneak the quality slider up a little bit. It's going to make that... Now, that is going to up the cost of the entire engine. This does up the cost quite significantly. So, hold on a second. That's down at 0. It's $1,600 for the engine. Maybe it doesn't up it as much as I thought it did then. Okay, we can get away with that a little bit more. I want 460 horsepower. I want to go that little bit further. I want to go that little bit higher than the Chevelles. That'll do for me. Oh, of course, we've got to have the fun part of this, of course, is the testing to figure out what the engine is going to sound like. I've got my computer turned down for XCOM. XCOM is incredible. XCOM 2 is incredibly loud. This game is also incredibly noisy. Yeah, it's not a bad sounding engine. I am relatively pleased with it. Yeah, I'll take it. 460 horsepower, 5,500 RPM is about right for all of that. We could go with we could go with all-wheel drive muscle car. Nope. Rear-wheel drive. Yes. Manual. Yes. 4-speed. Yes. Top speed. I mean, a lot of vehicles were limited around the 120, 130-ish mark. It reckons it'll do about 152. So we will give it the gearing so that it is capable of. We are going to want what's the sporting? I guess we're going to have a Terra. I don't like open diffs, but I think we're going to have to go with it in this car. Right, tyres. Now we are going to want. I guess we might as well go with. We don't want chunky off-road, so we've got a choice of either long life tyres or. I mean, drivability is the same. We'll go with just long life tyres on it. Now we've got to have. We've got to go with some bigger wheels. I know the muscle car. Wait, hold on. Can we pull out the wheel arches a little bit? Maybe not quite that much. And then we'll pull out the front as well a little. Yeah, still okay there. Right, because we do need to get maybe tyre diameter. We definitely need to get. What have I done with the? There we go. Okay, now it's letting us at least get some decent-sized tyres on the vehicle. No, why is it not? No, there is a I thought I had managed to figure it out, but perhaps if we go with that, it's like sometimes it kind of just doesn't update itself quick enough. Almost to with these sliders, that will work. I'm okay with that. Quickly, let's not rim offset. Okay, so that's like having it sticking out of the car. We'll do that a little bit more like so. It looks a little bit better. Yeah, okay, I'm happy with that. 245s all round. Probably about right, really. Again, for the era, we certainly didn't have magnesium wheels on them, that is for sure. We would have a solid discs at the front, or certainly we are in this one here going to have solid discs. We're going to have drums at the back. Again, we're going to have relatively decent size ones. Now, cooling is where things are going to come interesting. None. Cooling airflow. So, cooling capacity is 900 required. Our cooling capacity is 2,500. It's massive cooling capacity. So, we might as well go with a little bit extra here and then stick up 100 to the brakes. Brake fade will be an absolute bugger with this car. So, we are going to play it nice and safe, and we're going to give plenty of cooling. While it'll give you a little bit of penalty for top speed, a little bit more drag. A car like this, I'm going to play it safe. When you've got when you've got that engine in it, I'm going to play a little bit safe with the cooling. Right, and then we go, of course, to the interior. We can have 5 seats. We'll go for some premium in interior in this one. We'll go with. Yeah, we'll kind of go. Do we want power steering in the vehicle? We'll kind of go for a little bit. We won't go for like completely boggo standard muscle car. We'll go for a mid-spec one. Do we want? I'm assuming. Yeah. So power steering would make the car like the drivability higher, but none is better for sportiness, better for reliability as well because there's less things to go wrong. You know what? Bugger it. No traction aids. We'll go with standard. I'm fairly sure standard 60s was just your car is made of incredibly heavy metal, so you do more damage to the other car than it does to you. Springs would be standard. I'm guessing we'd be fairly simple with the old dampers. We'll set it up for sport. That's more like it. We need oversteering. We can't be having understeer in our muscle cars. It does 9 miles a gallon, which is probably not that bad for, yeah, late 60s muscle cars. Now, apparently this isn't in the muscle category, and I don't know why. I would have thought this is literally everything that would have wanted to be in the muscle category, but apparently it is not. I wonder if it is too... actually, what we'll do... Okay, so we'll leave that there, and then we will go markets. That's the one we want. I'm not quite sure what else we need. Okay, we never do well. I guess especially surprisingly for in here, through in here, we are a little bit closer to being technically in the muscle category. I think we might be a little bit too expensive, possibly. Might have got a little bit too expensive in this one, but okay. So if we make it a little cheaper, make it a little cheaper, we can make it into a category. That's what we'll go for. Okay, it's green. I'm happier now. That's literally it. That's literally it. How do we go back here then? Okay, so no, that one there needs to be a lot cheaper. Right, we'll stay here. I like this place, and we can make it really competitive. And it's only 7,000, so we probably won't make any money on it at all. But there we go. We'll send it around the test track. Now, the Super Tourer that I built last time was a 2:11, if I remember correctly. Yeah, it was a 2:11 around this course. We'll see where the FailRace Industries muscle car will speed up time. It's a relatively long lap around this circuit. I'm not sure it's going to be... Well, I mean, there's some long straights for it. There are some long straights for it to get up to its speed. Just while it's going, we'll have a look. Top speed 154 miles an hour, 0 to 60, 6.9 seconds. Pretty decent. Quarter of a mile, 14 seconds. Okay, yeah, it's not a 10-second car, but for a bog standard factory muscle car, I'd say that's not too shabby. And we are going 239. I mean, it's not exactly surprising. The Super Touring car, much more sophisticated suspension. It had a little bit less power, but of course, going to be so much better when it comes to the corners. There we go. There could be some fine tuning to, of course, to do around with these various bits and pieces. Okay, that's how we make it more in the muscle category. We give it smaller brakes. How could I have not realised? Perfect. Like, that is the perfect note, I think, to end the video on. Right there. Yeah, we will make Diddy brakes, and that is how we make a muscle car. Diddy brakes, but with very, very sophisticated brake pads. Perfect. Just outstanding. Yeah, so little details. Little details make a huge bloody difference in this game when you're changing things for markets. Like, it's only changing one stat in all of that. I'm not sure quite which bit it was. Sportiness, drivability, I imagine. Somewhere in there, which just tweaked it enough to now make it competitive. Or make it more competitive. Even at the 0% is a lot more competitive. So there we go. That, we'll go back to looking at our beautiful, beautiful car. Here it is. Look at this majestic FailRace. FailRace muscle car. I'm quite pleased with this one, actually. This one on my Super Touring car, I'm actually quite proud of. Yeah, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.